Howdy, friend. Sam Houston here, hoping you're living in high cotton. And if you're lucky enough to be in Texas, I know you're most of the way there. Now enjoy your daily dose of Texas history and Texas pride.
Howdy, friend. Welcome back to the Feed Bandit podcast and your Texas History Roundup for February 23rd. In 1827, the Baron de Bastrop passed away. Through intercessions with Spanish Governor Antonio Maria Martinez, and in 1821, Bastrop was instrumental in getting approval for Moses Austin's colony in Texas. Bastrop was the second alcalde at Bexar or San Antonio, and in May 1824 became a representative in the legislature of the new state of Coahuila y Tejas. The town and county of Bastrop bear his name. In 1836, this day was a dire one for Texans, as General Antonio Lopez de Santa Anna occupied Bexar in San Antonio. Susanna W. Dickinson and her child Angelina moved into the Alamo to join her husband, Almiron. Colonel William B. Travis sent a hastily scribbled dispatch to Gonzales. Quote, The enemy in large force is in sight. We want men and provisions. Send them to us. We have 150 men and are determined to defend the garrison to the last. End quote. This same day, as instructed by the General Council, General Sam Houston signed a treaty of peace and neutrality with the Cherokees. They would be granted lands in exchange for land lost to settlers. Houston's adoption by Jolly, a Cherokee leader some years earlier, was influential in securing this treaty. The Cherokee believed signing made the treaty final, but the council never ratified it. And in 1861, by a vote of 44,000 to 13,000, Texans ratified secession. The secession convention reassembled March 5th, declared Texas independent, provided for joining the Confederacy, and reorganized the state government, which included amending the Texas Constitution. Slavery and states' rights were more directly defended, as a clause providing for slave emancipation was eliminated and the freeing of slaves was made illegal. But it did not legalize the resumption of the African slave trade, as some leaders advocated. And remember, so they conflate, or they add the idea of slavery into this little missive here, but, contrary to what most so-called historians and people say about Texas seceding and what happened after that, it was, while slavery was a contributing factor, it wasn't a direct factor. It was a matter of really the states wanting to control their own internal affairs, and it was a matter of them knowing that if, unfortunately, right or wrong, if the territories cannot have slavery, and that's kind of the way it was going, then majority, eventually, the southern states would never have or even be able to have any kind of say or majority say, really, in the federal government in Washington, because all future expansion would be without slavery. So, of course, it's every war is a war over power and money. That's all it comes down to. Power and money. So that's, even so, secession is, I believe, a very noble act, as you know, as a loyal follower of the Feed Bandit podcast. Secession all the way down to the individual is the ideal goal. Of course, that will never happen. So that's why we talk here in terms of Texas reclaiming its natural right to be her own country. So in 1911, Quanah Parker passed away in Oklahoma. He was born about 1845 near the Wichita Mountains in Oklahoma City to Cynthia Ann Parker and Peta Nakona, which is the Comanche leader. This was 9 years after Cynthia Ann had become a captive of the Comanche. Cynthia Ann was later recovered, but Quanah remained with the Comanche and became a brilliant leader. Despite his efforts to protect his people and their land, he finally went to the Kiowa Comanche Reservation in Oklahoma in 1875. Subsequently, he operated a profitable ranch and became the most influential person among the Comanche. In 1945, the Pulitzer Prize-winning photograph of the Stars and Stripes being raised on Iwo Jima was taken by Associated Press photographer Joe Rosenthal. Harlan Henry Block from Velasco is the Marine who holds the base of the flagpole. Just 6 days after this famous photograph was taken, Block was killed on Mishi Ridge. In 1990, Barbara I. Tad Lucas died in Fort Worth. She was born in Nebraska and made her rodeo debut in 1922. She toured the United States and Mexico with a Wild West show and took second place in bronc riding at the Madison Square Garden Rodeo. After marrying rodeo man Buck Lucas, they settled in Fort Worth. Through 1942, she won almost every major event in women's rodeo: bronc riding, trick riding, and relay racing. In 1948, she was a charter member of the Girls Rodeo Association. Lucas was also a founder of the Rodeo Historical Society and member of all 3 rodeo halls of fame, and she's considered the greatest rodeo cowgirl of all time. Very interesting. All right, my friend, that was your Texas History Roundup for February 23rd. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll catch you back here tomorrow on the next one. You take care.
Well, there you have it. If you like our podcast, check us out at feedbandit.com. There you'll find awesome Texas First outdoors gear and apparel. Your purchase helps support the Bandits and keeps this podcast on the air, fighting for you and for Texas. Remember, preserve the tradition, protect the legacy. Until next time.